Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud. All right, let's get straight to it. Sunday morning, happy Sunday, a nice stress-free Sunday for Buffalo Bills fans and Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew alike. Part of the reason for that is the Bills victorious Thursday night, now 3-0 on Thursday night. First time in history a team has won 3 games on a Thursday night in one season. And boy, does it feel great. 24-10 over our rivals, the Patriots, who quite honestly just didn't look like they were on the same level as the Bills on Thursday. That game could have been way worse. Joining me today, I know it's a little bit late, but we're still calling this the Postgame Show, Week 13. My co-host, as always, Adam DT Rupsick. What's up, Dope Truck? How you, man? What's good this Sunday morning?
I'm good, Rob. What's up, everybody? What's up, Nickel City Crew? We're back in it, and this Sunday feels just as good as last. And nice dub on Thursday as we roll into the weekend and ease into some stress-free ball, although there's some pivotal matchups today as well, as we'll get into later. But great win Thursday is all this shit this team's been through over the past couple of weeks, and able to get 3 wins out of all that was huge for
12
us.
Days. 12 days.
Yeah, man.
That's hot.
Incredible all the way around, and the injuries and the illnesses and the travel and the snow, and literally you run out of time telling everything they had to go up against. And 3 wins, 3 strong wins, and Thursday, pretty dominant one too, Rob. I mean, they controlled, like you said, every aspect of that game, and could have been even a higher differential in score. So,
oh yeah, it could have been way worse. I was looking at it and it's 17-7, and I was just, after that kick that they missed right before the half, and I'm just like, how is this game a 10-point game? Like, I feel like we should be up 21 easy, and it was just like the Bills never. It just seemed like they were never out of control of that game. They seemed like they had their foot on their neck all night long, and it just didn't seem like they were in the same league, to be honest. Like the offense of the Patriots is so bad, and I don't know what they're doing with the coordinators. We talked about it over the offseason, like, well, I guess that's how they're going to roll in with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, and that doesn't sound like that would work too well, but they rolled with it, and it's kind of been to the detriment of Mac Jones because he has not looked good, and Thursday was no different. The defense was just all over his ass, man.
I mean, in all regards, the pass rush without Von Miller, you definitely saw it was a little lacking, overall. They had good pressure, but they weren't able to, really get their hands around Mac a lot, but, made him uncomfortable, and he really wasn't comfortable throwing anything into the secondary. Tremaine Edmonds back on the field, crucial player in that game. And making hits, and Milano doing his thing, as always. So defensively strong there. I was pissed. They robbed us on that J-Bo
pick. I know. I texted you like, "Oh man, you called it." I'm like, "You called it,"
yep.
and then all of a sudden they said he didn't get it.
I was hot there, and we can debate that rule, back and forth, and whatever, blah blah blah. But man, it didn't make sense, right? But great play. And Trey White got a little more burn. They played a lot of zone, and Leslie Frazier, you praise him, I praise him. Like, keep it in front of you. Very very good executed game plan defensively, and gave Josh the time he needed to rest, and only 10 points is on the road. No problem. I'll go out and get more than 10, Josh says, and that was easy for him to do on the offensive side. So credit to this defense. Mac was never comfortable. They stopped that running game that I was a little nervous about with Stevenson and all that, and kept the screens in front of them, and none of their receivers were going to beat us downfield. So I think overall, well done by the defense, and really controlled it. I wanted some more turnovers. I thought that would be a game where we could really take the ball away a few times, but hopefully we can say that for the Jets next week.
Yeah, a win's a win. We'll take it. You know what I mean? There's definitely some things that we can clean up. On the offensive side of the football, it was nice for the running game people to see the running game. The running game was averaging about 4 yards a clip. Nothing spectacular, but boy, James Cook is getting himself involved in this offense. I know that's your boy Jimmy. You call him Jimmy Cook, and like he is, he's getting involved in the offense. This was definitely a 50 game with him and Singletary. The way that the carries were kind of allotted out, he had 14 and Motor had 13, and he showed well, man. He's even in the receiving game at 41 yards, so he over 100 yards from scrimmage for the first time in his career. That was a nice game for James Cook. I liked what I saw from him, man.
Balance, and all the way around, everybody had a few touches, everybody had a few catches, and for the most part, everybody stayed, above ground, and yeah, I've been calling for it every week. Get 28
Mm-hmm.
involved.
You
With
have.
no disrespect on Singletary, but we know what we're getting. 28 gets involved. He's elusive, and Josh was loving it. He had that nice little dump off, and on a stingy Pats D, where especially with the pass rush they were bringing, he didn't have a ton of time to look downfield as much as he probably wanted to, but he was able to have Cook and Singletary underneath to really help him out there. And I give credit to Ken Dorsey in this game of really kind of changing the game plan after the first
Yeah.
quarter and knowing it was going to be tough in that left tackle position and
Yeah.
really
Questenberry
everywhere that.
was going
Mhm.
through, man. He was
and
going
then
through.
and then he got hurt on top of being overmatched. So, but they were quick. They were getting the ball. Josh moving out to the right, so he was away from that blind side, and I mean was still able to get him and force a fumble. 15th turnover this season that's a pretty high number. But hey, we're 9-3, and we move on there. But I like Ken Dorsey how they kind of changed the game plan, got those little dump offs involved, and Josh would seem to be patient with those, and he was
Mhm.
able to whip it down the field when needed. Rob, that holding that got the
I
touchdown that
know.
got called back.
I know. That was a perfect ball
That's
too.
oh
Oh,
man,
that's a perfect ball. That was a
that
perfect
was
ball. That was a
so.
perfect ball. That was real
Mm,
sweet. I was jumping up and down, and I had my boys with me that night, and Nate and Quincy jumping up and down downstairs. And then all of a sudden, I saw the flag. I said they're going to call that back for holding. I
yeah,
said they're going to
yeah.
call it back for holding. But I mean, that was a pretty ball. How about that touchdown on the sideline that everybody's talking about, man? I mean, that's Josh Allen. That's him. That's our quarterback. That's 17. You've got a defender on him. You got it draped on his arm. He shrugs him off, and then right before you think that he's going out of bounds, you think that he might be just tossing into the stands, and he finds a way to find Gabe Davis and just trusts him to get open, and they come back towards the middle of the end zone, and that was just a pretty ball. It's against everything that they tell all the quarterbacks to do. Do not throw against your body, do not throw back into coverage, all those types of things. Josh Allen, it does not matter when you got an athlete like him playing at quarterback. I mean, he is just something else. He shrugged off that defender right on the sideline and just jumps, hops, and just throws a touchdown. Like it was just that was so pretty, man. So pretty. I'm so happy he's our quarterback, man. I'm
On
so
a
happy.
on a frozen rope,
Oh yeah.
across his body, and the as pretty as that throw was, even the prettier part was watching the Pats defense literally just
Stop. They thought that
in
he was going out of bounds. Yeah.
defeat. Like wow, like this, like unbelievable how he's beaten us, and just like them all looking at each other with that blind mouth open look. Well, yep, there's 7 right behind you,
Yeah,
that
that
was
deer in the
fun too,
headlights
kind of
look.
watching the Pats. Exactly, and he does that a lot, and he got back to that. His stats weren't one of his best games ever, but I thought that was one of his best games overall. With everything behind it, all the adversity leading up, and he came in there, was efficient, knew he was going to take shots, knew he was going to get hit, but it was still able to make crucial throws to keep the game in control the whole time. And as I called for James Cook and get more looks from James Cook, now it's time for our boy 10 to get some more looks, man.
Yeah.
If we don't get Odell, like it's time to start getting 10 involved, and Zeke and Gabe are kind of getting there. They're working there. They're
They're
getting there a
trying,
little
yeah.
bit, but if we can get 10
Zeke's had a
involved in
couple
another
good games.
aspect, and
Yeah, Zeke's had a
yeah,
couple good
yeah,
games. He was big for us in Detroit, and then he showed up again on Thursday night with a couple nice catches as well, and some run after the catch as well. But I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to see Shakir. He had one target, one catch for 10 yards, and that was it on the day for him. But you're absolutely right. If OBJ doesn't come, then we'll have to have another way for somebody else to step up, whether it's Jamison Crowder coming off of injury, or like you said, Shakir stepping up, or Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is still kind of an enigma to me. I'm waiting for him to step up. I'm not sure exactly if he's wide receiver 2 material, or if he really
yeah.
is best suited as a wide receiver 3 when you've got really 2 good receivers and he can kind of hide under the shadows and do some of his things. So we'll see. I mean, I was very impressed with the actual resiliency, like you said, the patience of Josh Allen. 22 of 33, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 106 rating. And again, no turnovers, obviously, besides the fumble. No interceptions. How about that? No picks and in the red zone or anything like that. And I was definitely impressed by that. So I'm excited for the Bills. It's funny. I saw something on Twitter, DT, about, how Bills fans were back on track, and some people were kind of falling off the weight side, and it was a picture of a highway, and it says straight ahead that the Bills suck and we're back to being garbage, and then all of a sudden it says get off this exit, we're going to the Super Bowl, and the Twitter picture showed the car is swerving trying to get off the exit, and I was just laughing my ass off, because
Yeah.
that's exactly it for a lot of Bills fans. They were worried these last couple
That's what
games,
it's been, man.
right in that little stretch when it would seem like he's got that little midseason swoon. Josh does, he gives us, and And boy, he does seem to be back on track. The offense seems to be, getting its legs together, and the elbow seems fine. And they asked him about a post game. He says that it's fine. It's getting better. So it really seems like we're kind of getting, into gear at the perfect time. This is the time when you want to peak. You don't want to be peaking in September. You want to be peaking right now in December and January.
With two big division games coming up, we talked each week at a time, taking these games back to singular focus and laser focused in, and a much needed a little mini bye here for this team to get back, get right, and get back home as we go back next week, back to Orchard Park, back with the crowd, and where the Jets could be coming off a loss today, a big matchup against the Vikings that is, I think they're well overmatched in. So they come after a couple tough losses. Who knows who's playing quarterback for them? Mafia's back in action next Sunday. It's going to be live and, focus by focus, and then tease up for that Miami game. But we'll get into that here soon.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be time to get, to kind of get this rest. This 11 days rest is really going to help them, I think. I think it's a mini bye week, like you said, for them. And I think that could come at the perfect time, to kind of get some of those guys who have been banged up and get them some extra rest, like Tremaine, like, you know what I mean? Trey Davius and all those guys, Josh, get everybody a little bit of rest towards the end of the season. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. So they've got their 11 days rest before, like you said, they take on the Jets next week back home at the Ralph. So having said that, as we look around the league on this post-game show, DT, this is a fun week. Like, these are some intriguing matchups all across the league. As you scroll around and look around your matchups today, including the final game on Monday night tomorrow. I mean, there's some juicy matchups. We've got the Steelers taking on the Falcons, the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers refusing to let Jordan Love play, even though that season seems like it's going down the tubes, and he's just such a petty guy that he even comes out and says, I'd love to play off the string and all that type of stuff. So Rodgers is going up against the Bears today. We'll see what they do. The Jaguars going up against the Lions at 1 o'clock, and that 1 o'clock slate as well. You talked about it. The Jets going up against the Vikings in Minnesota. That'll be interesting for the AFC East. The Commanders are going up against the G-Men in MetLife Stadium and the 1 o'clock slate. And then we've got the Titans battling against the Eagles. And that's an interesting game. So I wanted to know what you thought about for the 1 o'clock slates. They're finishing up with Broncos and Ravens. And then Deshaun Watson makes his return against his old team, the Houston Texans, down there in Houston for the 1 o'clock slate. For the 1 o'clock slate game, I'm looking squarely at Jets Vikings, to be honest with you, DT. That's a game that I may not watch all of it, but I'm definitely going to be, tuned in to see if Matt White is the real deal for them and is somebody that can carry them the rest of the year. And that's the quarterback that we should be facing.
And last year he had similar uprise, right? Mac Jones goes down. He has a game where he throws for like 400 plus yards. Then he plays the Bills. They pick him off 4 or 5 times. Everybody in the secondary had a pick. So I'm not a believer yet, and I really hope I never do become a believer, of Mike White and the Jets. I hope they did improve. They got some good draft picks. They got a nice young team that is going to be something to reckon with in the coming years. But this year, get them away from us. Get them out of here. They go in. Minnesota, I think, takes care of them. They're starting to roll and, getting healthier in their secondary as well. They're kind of similar to the Bills in the roster build of, a strong all over the place. And if Kirk Cousins can play 1 o'clock Kirk, they call him, that's his best slot. Everywhere else gets a little shaky, but
1 o'clock Kirk.
1 o'clock Kirk and JJ at home that, I was in that stadium earlier in the year and it's live in there. Skull Nation's going to be live, and I'm rooting for the Vikings big time today. I think, on the betting front, that's a nice little look as well. Some good value, not too many points, and you could get the Vikings at home in a nice look. So I'm hoping for, a lot of reasons the Vikings go in there and take down the Jets today.
Yeah, it should be an interesting game. I'm going to be focused on that one along with the Titans and the Eagles. I like to see where the Titans stack up because of the fact that I don't believe in Ryan Tannehill. I would like to see them get another loss, but they're going up against the Eagles 10-1, the class of the NFC right now, even though I like San Francisco a little bit better on paper. Personally, to represent the conference, I'm interested to see what the Eagles are. You know what I mean? I'm always interested. I know Dallas Goedert went down for them, and that's kind of changed some people's perception of them. But, they're efficient, to be honest. They love to run the ball. They run it well. Their quarterback is very similar to ours in respects to the fact that he can move. He can get around. Jalen Hurts is not anything to be played with when it comes to mobile quarterbacks. He's at, right near the top of the list. I mean, it's Josh, it's Lamar, it's him. You know what I mean? There's not too many quarterbacks, even now Justin Fields, who seems to be, stepping onto the scene, and the offense is more catered to him in Chicago now. Listen, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, they could be a problem for the NFC because of the fact of how good they are at running the football. And this is that time of year, believe it or not.
And he showed it last game where he rips off, and has 150 rushing yards and,
Yeah.
himself. But I don't know how much you're a believer in stuff like this, Rob, but AJ Brown, revenge game. Titans basically told him, one of the best
Peace.
receivers in football, we're all set.
Peace. We're all
And
set.
and he goes into to a great, and he's a great contributor on this Eagles team too. He's a big reason why they're 10-2. So look for a little bit of chip on his shoulder and a little get back at his old team of, oh yeah, you want to get rid of me, now you got to play me. And I'm looking forward to to him kind of having a big day as well, with that chip on his shoulder. And yeah, it'd be nice to have the Titans kind of get back to earth, drop a loss, and they're pesky late in the year when in playoff standings. So
that's how Vrabel gets them.
A loss would be good. So
yeah, the 10-1 Vikings. I mean, there's something. I mean, the 10-1 Eagles. Excuse me. There's something to be reckoned with. And I don't believe in the Titans, and I never have. But I do understand that they're well coached. They play great defense. They keep the games close, and then they've got a sledgehammer and a running back in Derrick Henry. So they're always going to be somebody that you have to respect, and you probably don't want to play come late in the season. So we'll see how it stacks up with them. They're at 7-4. So another AFC loss, we would, we wouldn't mind that. So as we look at the 4:00 slates, DT, some cool games. These are the games that we're looking at.
This is
it. Yeah, this is it. It seems like
Yep.
all day you better just take your time for the 1:00 games, get all your stuff out of the way, put up your Christmas tree, and then go ahead and sit down, lay down, because 4:00 you should be playing toggle on your remote. Either you got the NFL ticket going with both screens on, like I'll have, or you better be playing, pressing the previous button on that remote. We've got the Seahawks going up against the Rams. The Rams season looks like it's over with Matt Stafford. Looks like he'll be out, and Aaron Donald missing his first game ever in his NFL career due to injury. So we'll keep an eye on that. But otherwise, that's a rather eventless game that I expect. I expect the Seahawks to go ahead and take care of that. We've got the Chargers going up against the Raiders at 4:25. Another game that's an AFC game. We'll watch and we'll see what the Chargers, if they've got any life left. And then this is it, man. It's on like Donkey Kong. The Dolphins go to the San Francisco 49ers. The Dolphins, as we all know, Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew, they are right behind us, nipping on our heels. If you don't want to give the Dolphins respect, this is probably the last week that you'll be able to disrespect them if they win this game, because if that's the case, they really do have to, at this point in time, have earned your respect, Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew. They are 8-3 going up against the 7-4 San Francisco 49ers out west in Levi Stadium. And boy, this is a juicy matchup, man. This is it. This is a chance to see a team that you've been wondering about all year. And is Tua really real? And all the stats and all the, the highlights with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and all of the fancy things that they've been doing. And they got, Chubb to come on down. Boy, you got yourself a test today with the San Francisco 49ers, because they will hit you in the mouth.
And how about McDaniel going back to the 49ers there, and Shanahan, a big brother, little brother type deal.
Yes.
Knows the whole team in and out. And but looking forward to some good ball. As Rob, you saw at the Halloween party, we'll have Living Room Junior going, Living Room Senior, so we'll be able to catch full screen both of those games.
Nice.
As it's Fox and CBS, so it's a nice little setup. As you get into the Dolphins 49ers and over to the Chiefs Bengals. But 49ers, I'm looking at a strong D. My early prediction, non-biased, is trying to look at the 49ers, kind of get the Dolphins out of their rhythm, their upbeat, fast-paced offense, where not necessarily no huddle, just saying they get the ball down the field quick and they move it quick. And if the 49ers can be a little stingy, get them off that track early, I think it might lead to almost a little inner panic with that Dolphins team, and they're not able to get that tempo moving and slow down. And the 49ers offense is good enough to score some points and keep them in the game that way too. So hoping for the 49ers home win would be huge,
yes.
Even though the Dolphins do have they got Chargers next week, so another decent matchup. But you'd like them to obviously have one out of the two losses, so they can be head-to-head against the Bills for the actual division there. But it's going to be a battle. 49ers are good, but they've also looked bad at sometimes this year. But so have the Dolphins, right? So not without Tua.
With Tua's there, it seems like
damn good,
they look like they're good. Yeah. So
this 49ers team's kind of like an all-star roster. There's a lot of playmakers, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. So punch them in the mouth, get them off their tempo early, and hopefully come out of there with a home win. And Mafia would like that for sure.
We would love that. We would love that, because you combine that with the Chiefs going on the road, AFC Championship game rematch. They'll be going on the road to Cincinnati, 4:25, like you said, a Fox game and a CBS game. Boy, if the 49ers take care of business and then the Bengals take care of business, you'll look up at the end of the night before the night game starts, that Colts Cowboys game, and you'll see the Bills right at the top of the AFC, right where we belong, right where we always wanted to be, in that number 1 seed. So it'll be interesting. Chiefs, Bengals, what are your thoughts? It looks like Jamar Chase will be back today. If you're a gambling man or a gambling woman, it looks like Jamar Chase will be back. I know the Chiefs are still favored on the road by 2.5. Boy, man, these are the 2 big matchups, DT. I mean, this is it. I mean, find a way to beat them for us. Can you please help us, Bengals? Can you please give us something? Who Dey Nation, can you help us out? I know we'll see you guys in a few weeks on Monday Night Football, second to last game of the year, Week 17. Can you help us out, please? Because we could really use it. I mean, come on. The Chiefs seem like they walk around with a horseshoe up their ass, and I am so sick of them. I am really, really, really sick of them. Patrick Mahomes finds a way. I have to respect him. He's not the boogeyman, like I said to me anymore, once the Bills went in there again and beat him. But boy, he's a tough matchup. And I don't know if Cincinnati can get it done, but they've got the type of offense that can they can keep up with them.
Yeah, they can put points up, and Jamar Chase coming back in, and that's going to be huge. It seems like they just, like, his blow-up games are no, a good receiver has 100, 120 yards. Jamar Chase could have 250, and that's the type of shit they can pull. But I just don't. I agree that horseshoe's way up their ass.
Stuck up there, man.
And I don't think it's coming out. I mean, especially kind of that revenge for the AFC Championship last year to go to the bowl, where, after that Bills Chiefs game, it was basically the winner of that we thought was going to the Super Bowl and probably winning it, and then Bengals sneak in there and beat the Chiefs at home. So I think the Chiefs are, that's a dynasty type loss last year, and that's something as beat up we were after that 13 seconds. Think how beat up the Chiefs were, after losing that home playoff game against the Bengals. So that's been circled on their schedule all year. And the Bengals that were kind of pesky with them last year found a way to win at the last week of the season to get in, and then they beat them in the playoffs, and it was just all wild and crazy with that. So I think the luck might have ran out for the Bengals, and the Chiefs would be consistent enough. As much as I want it, I don't think we're going to be lucky enough to see the Chiefs go down today, Rob. I really do think the Chiefs handle it. I'll be cheering otherwise, but I don't think we're lucky enough.
He said, "I'm not expecting. You're not gonna hold your breath." Yeah. Listen, I stopped holding my breath with Patrick Mahomes because I am not a scuba diver and I do not have the lungs for it. So I just stopped. I just expect them to win every single week. Just like, again, a couple weeks ago, I thought the Chargers had them, and I'm like, "Come on, guys, you got this. Just go ahead and wrap up this game." And they couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like I said, that horseshoe is firmly lodged. So at this point in time, I expect them to win every game that they go out there and play, except when they're playing the Bills. And even that would make me nervous again in the playoffs. You already know what I don't want. I don't want to have to go back to Kansas City. So at least get him to come on the road. That would be really nice to see him in the Ralph, and he can hear some of our voices on third down. But you got to find a way to get to the loss. So if it's not this week, then I don't know, man. I haven't looked at their schedule since we talked about it last week. But boy, this is the best chance on paper. This is the best chance on paper. It really is. So. It really is. Yeah. And the Bengals are at home. So if that helps, then hopefully it does, because they are at home today, again, 425. So that game, again, you can toggle back and forth between the Dolphins and the 49ers. Again, we talked about the Chargers, Raiders, and then our night game, Colts and Cowboys. Really nothing really affecting the Bills on that front. Monday night game is the Saints and the Bucks. And that shitty conference, I could not believe they brought up the graphic the other night, and it was all the conference, the division leaders. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the Bucks are leading the actual division at 5-6, and I had to scroll and look at the standings. I'm like, is that a typo? What a horrible division they're a part of, with the 5-7 Atlanta Falcons, the 4-8 Carolina Panthers, and New Orleans Saints. Like, somebody's got to win the division. I guess it's going to be Brady, and whatever. You know what I mean? I don't see him coming back to New England next year because of the fact that coming back to Tampa Bay next year, just because of all of the
that was a rumor.
Yeah,
there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but
I don't know if I buy that one though. I don't think that he'd come back. Him and Bill Belichick, I think their egos are too big for them to actually come back together. It's kind of one of those things where you split forever. There's no, bringing the band back together. I don't think that their egos will allow that. So it'll be interesting to see, man. It'll be interesting to see these games. So I've had fun talking about this, DT, going around the league. We don't do it often enough. We should be taking more runs around the league. So thank you for that, man. Listen, the Bills are back 9-3, right where we really, you look at the first 12 games of the year. I don't care what losses you pick for 3. I take that record, DT. I mean, would you? I would have taken that record in the beginning of the year when we talked about the schedule breakdown.
Yeah, with those that first 7 stack was the
Our
gauntlet,
focus.
and
Hmm.
they won some games we didn't think were going to be a little tougher, and lost some games we didn't think, so proportionally it worked itself out. And to sit here at 9-3 and look back at, yeah, obviously you hate to lose against the Jets, you hate to lose against the Dolphins, and
Right.
those tough ones. The Vikings was kind of a, whatever,
Stupid.
NFC good opponent. It is what it is.
So
But
dumb.
you'll take it. You'll take that at, and you didn't know the Vikings were coming in at 7-1 or whatever they were when they were
Right.
coming in either at that point. So
Right.
9-3, we'll take that. And then on top of everything, we keep talking about it, we keep going back to it, but so much adversity. This team's got a
Adversity.
peak, and they're getting ready and rolling. And who knows? We might be seeing Odell here next week. Has had the visit this weekend, and he
Yeah.
visited a lot of other teams. But why wouldn't you want to play with 17, man? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you want to play with 17, Rob? So 9-3, we'll take every part of it. Who cares who those 3 losses for? But we do have to be mindful, because we got to get those losses back when we play those 2 teams next 2 weeks. So
Yeah, we got them coming up. So the Bills back in action again next Sunday, like we said at the Ralph. We will play the Jets, and then the next week against the Dolphins, both back to back at the Ralph. So I'm happy to be coming back home. I'm happy to see you for a tailgate coming up soon. And listen, man, hit them with the Go Bills, DT. This is a nice, easy, relaxed day today. I mean, we'll chill today, man. Watch some football, be around family and friends, and just relax. The Bills are back on track. Everything's okay. And everything again is still right in front of us, regardless if the Bengals take care of business today or not. Listen, the Chiefs are not invincible. It doesn't really necessarily matter, because they still can lose in the playoffs. So at least get that 2 seed, be in a position where you're hosting 2 playoff games, and we'll go from there if we have to. I'll take that. I'll take it if I have to take it. I want that 1 seed, but I'll take the 2 seed if I have to.
yeah. Well, let's go, Nickel City. Enjoy the day. Enjoy this rest up. And yeah, go Bengals, go 49ers, go Vikings. But most
Yeah,
importantly, go Bills, baby.
man,
On the
go
way to
Bills.
10-3 next week.
Let's do it, man. Go Bills.